Hey, good evening, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live right here on Mike Avery Outdoors. I'm on my Facebook page, on my YouTube channel. It looks like Vimeo and maybe even Twitter. No, 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 we couldn't do Vimeo. Why is that? Okay, so Vimeo didn't work. I used to be going on Vimeo, so something's going on there. I don't know what it is. I'll have to double check that. But it looks like the whole Twitter thing worked. Actually, it's what is it, Twitch or whatever. Good evening, Jeff. How are you? Nice to have you along with us on another edition of Wednesday Night Live on a beautiful Wednesday evening here in my part of the world. Ryan, good evening. How are you? Nice to have you along with us as well. Really nice day today. Got to be a little bit windy. I would not have wanted to have been out on the water today. Ross, it was excellent. How about you? How about you? Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate that. Jim checking in from Gladwin. Nice to have you along with. Hello, Dave. I hope you continue to heal up from your eye surgery. I have a new appreciation for that. Bernie, Mike, nice to have you along with us. Of course, you're regular watchers, regular viewers. Good news, Ed is 50% charged. I'm glad to hear that. Ed Bolanowski, of course, from Speedy Blaze, will be joining us a little bit in just a few minutes. Dave's with us. Bernie is with us. Mike is with us. All three of those guys often join us on our Wednesday Night Live as we're out in the field at the restaurants. We're not going to be able to do that for a while. Ron checking in from Georgia. Thank you, Ron. How are things there? Waiting for the perch bite. I'm going to go out Friday. I'm going to chase some walleye, though. I'm taking my grandson, Carter. Hey, Julie. How are you? Nice to have you along with us. Jim checking in from Tennessee. And Mike says, hey, Mike. I say, hey, Mike, back to you. Coldwater Lake, no stars. It depends on where you're watching us. I was not able to turn off stars on Facebook. However, that's a good point. I think if I go live through this StreamYard, I don't get the stars, the goofy stars. No, Ross, I did not. I did not. If I go through Facebook, I get the goofy stars and I can't stop them. Heading out in the morning for catfish noodling. I'm assuming you're not here in our great state of Lori, the great state of Michigan, Lori. Where are you that you're going to be noodling? I can't wait to hear more about this. You are a brave, brave woman. Oh, going back and forth here. Okay. Ross is talking to Emil. Eric, Richard, Ron says it's hot and muggy down there. Horseback ride in the woods near Cadillac. That sounds like fun, Michelle. Anyway, my friends, good evening. Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live here. Watching me in front of a fire, Martin. I hope it's a Speedy Blaze fire. Gary is heading to the bay, Saginaw Bay, to fish next week with Lance Valentine. I just talked to Lance about 20 minutes ago because I said, Lance, I heard a report of you had a 24 fish day. Where are you? And he told me where he was, which is too long of a run from me where I go from the mouth of the Saginaw River. So my grandson Carter and I are going to go out Friday, but we're going to stay close to the mouth of the river over to the east side and see what we can find. I don't expect much. The fishing's been pretty slow. Trek tree stands with your wife, daughter, and two grandsons. Leslie, that sounds like a wonderful, wonderful day. Wonderful day. The weather. Let's talk about the weather for a minute. Everybody talks about it, but nothing we can do about it, right? Good evening from Newberry, Jennifer. I will be up in your neck of the woods the end of September, bear hunting with Johnny Bowler. The fish are slow right now, Ronnie says. Good evening from Southern Ohio. Ron Shively says the fishing are slow. Fish is slow. Southern Ohio checking in. How are things in Southern Ohio? I don't like your football team, but I like your state other than that. It's going to be an interesting year for Big Ten football, isn't it? Did you see the Michigan-Ohio State game has actually moved way up in the season? And the thinking is they're probably going to have to pull the plug on the season mid-season, but they want to get the Ohio State game in first. Speaking of Johnny Bowler, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny, how are you? Raining at Seaboing. That's not where you're noodling. You're not noodling in Seaboing, are you, Lori? I didn't even know that was legal in Michigan, to be honest with you. Johnny, did you start baiting yet? If not, you're going to start pretty soon, right? And when do you want me to come up and see you? And when do you want me to come up and set up a blind or bring a blind for you? I can't wait. 47 degrees this morning. Wasn't that nice? Yeah, the weather felt great. Little touch of fall. In fact, let me show you something. This is video that I shot yesterday of me shooting. Look at that fall. Doesn't that look like a fall sky back there? Doesn't that look like a September sky, not an early August sky? Watch this, though. Watch this incredible form that I have. Such great form there. Watch this. Here we go. It kind of reminds you of Fred Bear, doesn't it? Fred Bear with a white beard. Shooting a recurve. You'll notice, though, I don't hold my anchor. I get an anchor and boom. My index finger touches the corner of my mouth. And right away, I let the arrow go. And boom. Well, here's something interesting. Let me get out of this. Go back to stop here. Stop screen. Oh, did I just lock up here? Uh-oh. Not sure what happened there, my friends. Never had that. There we go. I'm back with you again. What is that? Huh. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Oh, I'm back with you. Here, I want to see this. Myron Green, good evening, sir, from your newly elected Midland County Sheriff. Myron, congrats on that. Congrats on that. I look forward to getting to meet you and talking to you, Myron. If you're on this page, evidently you're an outdoor enthusiast. I didn't know that. That makes me very, very happy, and congrats on your win. MUCC versus Ottawa versus Chippewa tribes. Great fishing, gill nets, etc. The folks from MUCC were on the show this week. The new Wraith for bears, you bet. That's what I'll be running. The Wraith 270. I saw my Fred Bear interview the other day. It was great. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate that. Yes, it mirrors Fred Bear, doesn't it? On my shooting, ideally, if you want to have perfect form, you should draw and then hold. Get it to here, hold for a beat or half a beat, and let it go. What I tend to do, and it seems to be working well for me, so I'm not going to screw around with it too much. I draw, and the whole time I'm looking at my target, right? So I know where I want to hit, and as soon as this finger right here touches the corner of my mouth, I let it go. Now, Fred Bear himself told me that's not a good way to shoot. But you know what? It seemed to work for Fred. And I can't argue with that. Do I leave the quiver on while hunting? If so, is it noisy when you shoot? Dan, I do leave the quiver on. I haven't noticed that it's noisy, but to be honest with you, I haven't shot it with it off. You got to remember, in a recurve, there is not a lot of stored energy, so you don't get a lot of vibration and noise like you would with a compound. And it's so slow. I mean, I can see the feathers turn. Richard says, congrats, Myron. You had his vote. Wonderful. I've got the new sheriff in town on the show today, on the page tonight, on the show. That's wonderful, man. I appreciate that. Shall we? Okay, I want to talk about the weather. Fishing. I have not been on Saginaw Bay in over a week, and that's very unusual. I'm going Friday with my grandson Carter. We're going to see if we can find some walleye. I saw some big bucks. Noodly heading to Illinois for Noodly, 45-pounders. Groundhog for dinner. It's for dinner. What's for dinner? Groundhog. Well, you can have that. Enjoy it. Rend Lake, Illinois for noodling. They've been getting 45-pounders. Lori, please, 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 when you get something, post video or pictures to the page. Can I come up on a Friday? Yes, Johnny, I can come up on a Friday. Just give me a week's notice when you want me to be up there, and I will be there. Oh, how about the 22nd of August? I'm checking a calendar here real quick because all right, 22nd of August. That's just, yeah. You want me to come up Friday the 21st and we'll go out the 22nd? Yeah. I like it. Yeah. A good putter sticks with what works. Oh, I got you, Dan. A good putter sticks with what works for them, and a good traditional archer sticks with what works for them. And this seems to be working. I don't pretend to be a great or even a good traditional archer. I'm not. But that style seems to work for me. I intentionally try to get a full draw, and I try to hold it a full beat, but my mind doesn't want me to. My mind has said, as soon as you get that go, Avery, let the arrow go. Louis says, and Louis would know, Louis is a very good archer. Archery is all about repeatability in your form. If you can do it each time that way, go with it. Thank you, Louis. Appreciate that. Handicapped accessible pontoon or fishing boat. Kyle, I can tell you this. I don't know exactly what you're looking for, but on an Angler Quest, they are making them wheelchair accessible now. So keep that in mind. What's happening with orange on hunting blinds? Nancy wants to know. That's a good question, Nancy. I don't know the answer to that. I didn't realize that. Okay. I'm going to say it failed since it wasn't in the changes that the NRC made at their last meeting. I'm assuming it failed and hoping it did, right? Does groundhog taste like dirt? It tastes like chicken. Everything tastes like chicken. The other day I was driving down the freeway, and you know me, I'm not a big deer hunter anymore. And stay tuned, friends. We're going to give away some Speedy Blaze here in just a minute. But you know I'm not a very big deer hunter anymore. In fact, what I want to do is shoot a doe this year with my recurve and call it good. But I'm driving down the road off to the right between in a bean field between a woodlot and between a off ramp. I see a bachelor group of bucks, probably 8 bucks out there, and about 3 or maybe 4 of them were true trophy bucks. Of course, when they're in the velvet, they all look huge, right? But these were really, really big, nice bucks. So that got me. It got me excited. Not excited enough to go out and try to shoot a buck. Who will be? Lori is a tiny little thing. Yeah, who will be catching who, Lori? Tiny Lori or a big catfish? Groundhog is nasty. Headed to get Little Caesar. So, all right, here's the background. If you were just joining, Bill Hoffman was trying groundhog for the first time tonight. Now he comes back and says, it's nasty. He's heading to Little Caesars. Maybe you should have Wild Game Chef Extraordinaire Dave Miner cook it up for you. All right, my friends. If you've been with me, you know that I like to... I lost my page here. Let me find it again. There they are. That's not it. Sorry. That's not what I want. I want this page right there. No, that's not. Oh my gosh. All I want is Speedy Blaze. I apologize for this. I had it all. Well, this is a live show, right, my friends? There we go. Speedy Blaze. Let me go back to this and then share the screen and go to Speedy Blaze. Oh my gosh, this is the one I want right here. Okay, this is Speedy Blaze. Did my screen change with me? I don't know if it did. Let me get out of there. Anyway, let's give away some Speedy Blaze. You know how this works, right? Bill says the orange on the blinds failed. John says he can't not see me or hear me. Can you hear me now? Can anybody else hear me or see me? Bill says Hunter Orange on ground blinds failed, which I think is a great idea because why put a law, a rule, or a regulations into effect that's not needed? They talked about the fact that it was a safety concern. But how many people do you know, or how many reports even did you hear of any hunter getting shot while sitting in a ground blind? it's not really a concern. It's not really a problem. So if it's not a problem, why put unnecessary rules, laws, or regulations in place? So I'm glad that it failed. Let's give away some Speedy Blaze. And I'll try this one more time. There we go. This is Speedy Blaze. And what we're giving away is one or two of these right here. I don't know. I think we're giving away two of them, Ed, of that right there. It's the fire kit. It comes with the Speedy Blaze, and it comes with two fire starters. Anybody can make a fire with Speedy Blaze. So what we're going to do, okay. Got to beat last week's buzzer? All right, let's try it. Starting right now. Boom. You have 3 minutes to make your comments. 3 minutes to make your comments on why you want to win a couple of packages of Michigan-based Speedy Blaze. I'm telling you, we've been making fires on the patio here in our solo stove with Speedy Blaze, and they are it's wonderful. The fire starts quickly. It burns hot. It burns down to absolute ash. It doesn't leave anything at all. Very clean. You can cook over it. It's impervious to water or moisture. You can leave it in the back of the truck. You can leave it out in the camper. You can leave it at a campsite, whatever. It won't get wet. It doesn't have bugs, so you can transport it. And if you have your own wood, you could use Speedy Blaze to get your wood going. I'm telling you, it's a great product. You got 2.5 minutes. Make a comment here about why you want to win some Speedy Blaze. Ed Bolanowski is standing by. I finally got him off the water. I finally got him away from walleye fishing because Ed is about as addicted to walleye as I am. And he's been out fishing and catching some fish, but he's north of where I am. He's out in the outer bay. I'm fishing the inner bay. So make your comments about why you want to win some Speedy Blaze. I'm not seeing anything yet, but I'm lagging behind you. 2 minutes. 2 minutes on why you would like to win some Michigan-based Speedy Blaze. There we go. Martin says he loves his Speedy Blaze campfires. Lori's been using Speedy Blaze while camping. It's great. And Johnny says, oh, and hey, put me in for the free stuff. Oh. Johnny. We're going to have fun, Johnny. So Johnny, yeah, I will make those dates 2 minutes on the Speedy Blaze, by the way. I will make that available. And shall we put up a trail camera while we're there so we can see what's coming into the bait? I would love that very much. 2 minutes on the Speedy Blaze. 2 minutes on the Speedy Blaze. After the contest here, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about something that I actually unveiled on the radio show today. It's something I've been sitting on for a while, literally. They're easy to use, Lori says. Make your comments on why you want to win some Michigan-based Speedy Blaze. Dan says it looks amazing. It is. It really is. Not seeing a lot of comments tonight about why you want to win Speedy Blaze. If the interest in this is waning, we'll quit giving it away. But I think it's a great product. You're getting it for free. Ron says Speedy Blaze would help me with his fire. Jim says need to try Speedy Blaze in Mississippi. Love to give it a try. Orange on the blinds isn't a bad idea. It's about safety, and I even do it while on private land. If you think orange affects hunting, you're wrong. I don't think orange affects hunting. I just don't think it's necessary. And I'm just against unnecessary rules, laws, and regulations. There's nothing to prevent you from putting orange on your blind if you think you need to. I just don't want the government telling me that because there's been no documented evidence that it's a problem. 1.5 minutes on the Speedy Blaze. 1.5 minutes on the Speedy Blaze. Just like I want to see him get rid of the number of lines that a trolling angler can use. It's unnecessary. Why? Entered 7 times, maybe 8 will be the charm. 1 minute on the Speedy Blaze. Hoping to give it a try. 1 minute. I'm doing well, Chris. How are you? George says, I don't think it works, but willing to give it a try. 30 seconds on the Speedy Blaze. 30 seconds on the Speedy Blaze. Speedy Blaze needs to add to they do, Craig. They do. They add that in their campaign that it will not spread bugs. Jeff says he wasn't in the Boy Scouts, so he a lot of comments coming in here now. Okay. I was just ahead of you. That's what it is. We're still getting lots of comments here. 30 seconds on the Speedy Blaze. 20 plus. Dan wants to be a winner. Red Dog. That's a cool name, Dan. Richard, where are you at? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. If you won in the last 2 weeks, you're not eligible, but I said that too late. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I just realized how scary that is when I get that close to the camera. I wouldn't like that at all. If I was on the other end of this, I wouldn't like that at all. I wouldn't like the sound, and I wouldn't like the look of it either. Oh. Yeah, Lori reminded me, you can't have won in the last 2 weeks to be eligible. But since I didn't say that ahead of time, Lori, I guess I can't hold anybody to it. All right, Ed. Ed Bolanowski standing by. Speedy Blaze on your patio in Sanford. God bless Sanford. Did you get any, I don't know where you are in Sanford, Brandon, I don't know where you are. Were you okay? Did you get water? I hope not. All right, Ed, tell us who's winning this week's Speedy Blaze. SpeedyBlaze.com, by the way, SpeedyBlaze.com. Dan says, yes. But you haven't won yet, Dan. Not that I can see yet, at least. No. Waiting for Lori. Not Lori. Lori says she'd always be happy to win some Speedy Blaze. Waiting for you, Ed. But I realize now that I'm quite a bit ahead of you. And when I talk and when I see your comments, there's a good 30 seconds. So there must be about a 30-second delay here. So it makes it a little bit interesting. Waiting for Ed Bolanowski, Ed, a hardcore walleye angler, also a great guy. He's a Speedy Blaze rep. He travels the state selling Speedy Blaze and delivering them to stores. Hey, Mike, how are you? Nice to have you along with us. Dan says, good luck, everyone, but especially to you, Dan? Waiting for Ed Bolanowski. What's in the Yeti? And you know how much I love Yetis. I won't buy them, but if you want to buy me one, like my daughter got this one for my birthday, I'll use it. And it's nothing but, Crystal Light in it right now. Lori says she's taking some to Illinois this weekend. Boy, this feed must be way, way, way behind because I'm waiting right now to see Ed. Who do we have, Ed? I'm going to move on to something else here. Last week's was better. I know. I just don't want to be too obnoxious. All right, Ed, I'm going to move along, and you pick the winner, and then somebody jump in and tell me who it was, because I don't want to sit here and drag this thing down waiting for that. So, a couple of other things I want to talk about. This week on the radio show, and I've let the cat out of the bag on this in the past. Do you hear my daughter's dog up there barking? About how I lost the weight. I lost 115 pounds in 7 months. And there's only one way you can do that, right? Surgery. And I had bariatric surgery coming up 2 years this fall. And I haven't. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. What, Ed? Who? What? Who did? Who won? Who won? Yes, he did. I'm looking for you, Ed. Tell me again, because I missed it. My daughter's dog, Georgie, is not happy up there right now. I think my wife and daughter left the house for a few minutes. Okay, well, anyway. And I haven't talked about it too much because I thought it was kind of a personal. Hey, Brent. Hey, buddy. How are you? I kind of thought Dan Red Dog. Oh, Dan Red Dog did win. Well, congrats. And Ed, sorry for busting your chops. I guess you had already put his name out there and I just didn't see it. Dan Red Dog, congrats. Send me or send it directly to Ed. A private message with your shipping address, your mailing address, and he'll get some Speedy Blaze off to you, and you're going to love it. So, getting back to my story here, so I had bariatric surgery because I tried a diet, I tried exercise, I even tried hypnosis, and I couldn't get anything to work. And my doctor said, "Why don't you take a look at bariatric surgery?" And I said, "I'm not going to do that because I know too many people who've had it and got fat again." And he said, "Yeah, that's always a concern." He said, "But he, as a doctor, Phil Kadaj, Dr. Phil, said he's had a lot of patients who didn't gain the weight back, and he encouraged me to take a look at it." So I did, investigated it, and went through with it. So last fall, 2 years ago this fall, I had a bariatric surgery, a gastric sleeve gastrectomy. And like I said, lost 115 pounds in 7 months. And now the challenge is to keep the weight off, right? I'm walking 3 to 4 miles a day, several days a week. I'm eating less. I'm trying to work out. I wish the gym would open back up so I could do some work on my gut and my stomach. But it used to be when people asked me how I did it, I'd say, well, I'm moving more and eating less, which was not a lie. That's really what happened. I just happened to use the surgery to get a jump start on it. And I didn't want to hear from people, "Oh, because a few people that I did tell said, 'Oh, you took the easy way out. You took the easy way out.'" And I didn't want to hear that anymore because it's not the easy way out. Keeping it off is the hard part. And the hospital said, somebody from the hospital said, "Look at you're quite a success story. Would you like to be involved in a marketing campaign to get the word out about this?" And I reluctantly, I went back and forth and thought about it and wrestled with it and prayed about it and decided to do it because if my story could help somebody else, I figured it was worth it, even by putting myself out there publicly and risking ridicule. So, when they came out with the marketing that dog's driving me crazy right now. When they came out with the marketing campaign, I thought, well, the cat's out of the bag now. I might as well make a big deal out of it. So I actually had Angie Monroe from the bariatric program on the radio show this week for this weekend. We're going to do something for the Art Lewis show coming up on WSGW. And then Speedy Blades. No, it's Speedy Blaze. A lot of people think it's Speedy Blade, Speedy Blaze. And so I'm also going to be part of a radio and TV campaign and maybe even some billboards for the bariatric program. So that's my story. It's worked for me. It continues to work. I've got to work hard at it. I'm not embarrassed by the way I did it. I'm actually pretty proud of myself of getting to this point. Now the challenge is to keep it off. It was in the Gratiot County Herald even, huh? Okay. Wow. Yeah, it's getting some exposure. So I thought, why not? Because actually I have heard from a few people, and I've got a couple of friends who, hey, Jerry, who, based on my success, had the same surgery, and they had even more success than I did. So it was worth it. It was worth it. So that's the story. Okay, so getting back to the rundown of who's on the show this week. Cody Norton. We're talking about the Outdoor Magazine radio show. Cody Norton is my first guest this week. And he's talking about predators, top tier predators in the UP. He's talking about daughter and wife both had the surgery. They're doing great. Wonderful. The surgery wasn't that bad, Lori. Of course, I come through surgeries ridiculously easy. I get my knees replaced. I use a cane for about a day and a half, and then I'm off and running. I mean, not really running, but Jim had it in 1998. Wonderful. Great. Cody Norton talks about top tier predators. He's talking about wolves, he's talking about bears, and he's talking about cougars in the UP. We also talk about, are there cougars and wolves in the northern lower as well? And then Angie Monroe from the Mid-Michigan Hospital Bariatrics Program joins me to talk about the options there. In hour number 2, we're talking about bear hunting behind dogs with Jordan Farmer. He's one of the famous Farmer brothers. Jordan and his brother Justin, probably the two most well-known dog hunters, hound hunters in the state. We talked about that. I think it's pretty cool because you can do catch and release hunting. They don't kill most of the bears that they tree. And I think that's pretty sweet. And then, our Ask Avery segment this week. I'll come back to that Ask Avery segment. And then in hour number 3, we're talking about big Lake Michigan king salmon with Dave James of Fish Hunter Charters. They're seeing some big fish. They're seeing lots of fish. And of course, wild game chef extraordinaire Dave Miner wraps it all up. This week's Ask Avery segment, by the way. Thank you, Brent. I appreciate that. There's 2. It's a twofer. Brent Truswell has a question. He says, my girlfriend is an out-of-state resident. We can't change her residency to Michigan for a while. I want to take her fishing. If I buy her an out-of-state license, will it still be good when she's a resident later this year? Also, will her out-of-state hunting tag still be good this fall when she becomes a resident? The answer is yes. Her tags will still be good. And you can also convert those to a resident tag when she moves into the state. Then John Grzebek, Grzebek, and I apologize, John. John has an interesting question. He says, you can't hear the dog? Oh, good, because I can. Lee says, we can't hear the dog. I can. John and I had been talking about an issue, and I think it's a very, very good question. We talk so much about the drastic decline in hunter numbers here in Michigan, and it's a big problem. Then you take a look at the free fishing weekend that we have during ice fishing season and during the summertime. And the question then becomes, if we are having a problem with losing hunters, what about the concept of a free small game hunting weekend in the fall to encourage people to go out hunting? I think that's a very interesting question. I posed that question to the DNR, and they said that they're not in favor of it because of the safety concerns. Because I guess in theory, you could be putting people in the woods who didn't have any hunter education classes. And I get that. I think it's valid. And I really didn't have time to follow up on it. But the next question, the follow-up would be, well, why not just then open it only to people who've had hunter education classes and still do a free hunting weekend? I don't know if that accomplishes the goal or not. But those are the 2 questions for this week's Ask Avery segment. And as always, if you want to send me a question for the Ask Avery segment, which I can thank the folks at Security Credit Union for sponsoring, securitycu.org. Send me an email. In fact, if you ever want to get in touch with me, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Send me an email, a question, a comment, a gripe, a criticism, and I would be more than happy to follow up on that with you. So what else is going on, my friends? I'm gonna break a little bit early tonight because my daughter's in town, and my wife and daughter and I are going to go out to a late dinner. I don't know where yet. So I'm going to give it a few more, but I do have a few more minutes. So what is on your list? What do you want to talk about? What should we cover here in the last few minutes on this edition of Wednesday Night Live? I'm live right now on my Mike Avery Outdoors Facebook page, on my Mike Avery Outdoors YouTube channel, and I actually think I went live to Twitter, I think possibly, which I have not done before. I'm working on a way. My Vimeo live feed isn't working for some reason. I'm working on a way to get live on Instagram as well. But so far, Instagram isn't offering that. Lori says, I've seen so many hounds get into porcupines while bear hunting. Huh. I hadn't thought of that. My concern, Lori, and I talked with Jordan Farmer about this, is if you're in the UP, your dog's getting into wolves. He and his brother Justin have lost dogs before when they were running bears, lost them to wolves. Getting back to wolves. What's his name? I got a mental block here. Cody Norton says there are 600 wolves in the UP right now. All right, Johnny, thank you. 600 wolves in the UP right now. He said, but that's the lowest number. He says that's after any, I don't want to say any hunting seasons, but after the hunting seasons and before the pups have been born. So realistically, this time of year, there could be 1,000, pushing 1,000 wolves in the UP. He said, but there's 700. He says there's at least 700. 700 is the minimum level, 695. But but he said that appears to be the carrying capacity of the UP. The number spiked here a few years ago, and he says it appears to have leveled off. He says, so it looks like we're going to have that a pack of about 700 animals, up to maybe 900 animals, maybe 1,000, depending on when you count them. But there's no doubt that there are too many wolves in parts of the UP. Johnny Bowler says, I will hear or maybe even see wolves on my bear hunt near Seney. That's fine. I mean, I've been around wolves before. I've killed a wolf in Ontario. The difference here in Michigan is when I'm wolf hunting or bear hunting up in Ontario, I can't have a sidearm with me. In Michigan, when I'm bear hunting, I will have I'll probably carry a Glock with me. Not for protection from people, but for protection from critters. Isn't it interesting? Downstate, people, myself included, carry a gun for protection from two-legged predators. Up north, you carry a gun for protection from four-legged predators. 700. Have you ever seen a wolf? If you've seen a wolf, you'll never confuse a coyote with a wolf again. And the first time you hear a wolf howl, it is chilling. It's not like the high-pitched whine of a coyote. It's a low, throaty moan that will get you right to your core. I had a bear bait once in Ontario that suddenly went dead, and we found out the wolves had taken down a moose a couple of hundred yards from, not a couple hundred yards, it's hard to tell in the bush, but nearby there. And all my bears were had gotten scared away from the bear bait by the wolves. And one night, those wolves, just before dark, fired up. And it was creepy because they weren't that far away and there were multiple animals howling. And it's like, whoa, that got my attention. Dan says he thinks that's a horrible response from the DNR. I don't disagree, Dan. But I'm blaming myself partially for this one because I did not follow up with them by saying, well, what about just opening it up to folks with hunter education classes? So that was my bad. John did posed a great question, but I don't think I did a very good job in presenting it. Lori says, we are able to do in-class hunter safety classes yet. I don't know what that means, Lori. Unable? Hit me up with that again, Lori. I will certainly do that, Mary. My daughter, Shelby, is a lawyer. I'm very proud of her, a lawyer downstate. And she's been working remotely now since March. So she came up for a few days. Mostly, I think, because she's just bored down there. I know she wants to get back in the office. All right, my friends, I think that just about wraps it up, doesn't it? Jen, let's check in with Jen. Richard, prayers with you. Please let me know. Jen Binns, my friend Jen, says, what's a good bait to use at the Linwood Beach Marina for shore fishing? I don't think you can go wrong with crawlers. You can't go wrong with minnows, right? So I'd say either one of those. Live bait, if you want to cast a bait, probably can't go wrong with a spinner or some kind of a body bait like a Rapala or a Rapala, depending on how you want to say it. I would check with the guys at Linwood Beach. Give them a call, 989-697-4415, and ask them what folks are using there to fish from shore with. David is sitting at the campfire watching. I hope it's a Speedy Blaze fire. Kevin Prophet, well-known outdoor broadcaster who happens to be an outdoor enthusiast from the mid-Michigan area, have been out of touch for a few weeks. Have you discussed this year's regulations, especially using any firearm during the muzzleloader season? Yes, not so much here on Wednesday Night Live, Kevin, but I talked about it in depth with Chad Stewart from the DNR on a radio show here a couple of weeks ago. The crux of it is, he says two things. Number one, he says very few people will actually do it. So statistically, it won't have, according to Chad, much of an impact on the harvest, no, I won't have much of an impact because he said statistically not that many people will take advantage of it. He says the biggest part is from a management area. He said if every hunter, and I found this fascinating and disturbing. He says if every Michigan deer hunter who gets a license this year kills a deer, and they won't, if every Michigan deer hunter this year kills a deer, they still will not match the deer harvest from just, what did he say, about 10 years ago or so? So they're starting to get worried about using hunters as a management tool because there's not enough hunters out there anymore. So part of the regulations were designed to encourage hunters to stay out there, to be as active as possible, and take some deer as a deer management tool. Wow. Average size, litter size for wolves. I don't know the answer to that, Bernie. I do know this. He told me, what did he tell me? I don't remember. Well, he said the average pack was a little like 5 wolves in a pack. So what's 700 divided by 5? That's how many packs they have out there. Lori, you would love wolf hunting. And if you're serious about it, I can hook you up in White River, Ontario. If we can get back across the border this winter, I actually have plans to go back to White River and try to kill a wolf with my recurve, which will be almost impossible because I'll have to be 20 yards away. A wolf is not going to let you get 20 yards. But I'm going to give it a try. 695, Dan, is the actual count. I'm rounding it up to 700. And that is, keep in mind, before the pups are born. So what is it going to increase to after the pups are born? All right, my friend, it's been an interesting show tonight. I do certainly appreciate you joining me. Again, if you want to get in touch with me anytime for any reason, send me an email to mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com, mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. Congrats to Dan Red Dog for winning this week's Speedy Blaze. Dan, if you haven't already, please send me a private message with your mailing address or send it directly to Ed Bolanowski. Thank you, Ed Bolanowski. And Sherm Hubbard and everybody at Speedy Blaze. Thank you to the folks at Security Credit Union for making our Ask Avery segment possible. And thank you to you for joining me on another edition of Wednesday Night Live.